Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello and welcome, everybody.
This is another half hour of us eavesdropping on the very personal communication between the spirit world and you, because that's what your dreams are. And obviously the context there is that your dreams know what your plan is. So that's really interesting. What are you meant to be doing while you're here? How are you meant to grow? And what are you meant to avoid? A lot of the time, that's also a great thing to know.
I am so excited about all the dreams we have for today, so I am ready to dive in. Hopefully you are too. Let's go with our first dream. It's right leg won't function, and it's from Maggie. It's a bright sunny day, and my husband and I are walking outside, side by side. We are going to an event. I don't know what kind of event it is. It's just something that we are attending. As we walk up, it's a big house with a circle driveway. In the middle of the circle driveway is a grassy area with a fountain. There are people strolling around dressed very nicely like they're going to a ball. The women are all dressed in long gowns and beautiful head coverings like Muslims. The men are dressed in suits. I am keenly aware that I am in just a white t-shirt and jeans. But I decide to shake it off, and then my husband and I turn to go a different direction. I am to the left of him, as I always am, and I hold onto his left arm as he offers it. This is typical of what we normally do. As I'm holding onto him as we walk, all of a sudden my right leg doesn't want to move forward. My left leg works like normal, but when I step with my right, I just can't bring it forward enough. My right leg will move a little bit, but it will not move forward in a normal stride, just enough to keep me going. It is so frustrating to me, and I don't know why it's doing this. Well, Michael, what do you make of that one?
All right, well, here we go. First of all, she gave us some notes. She said, my husband is Muslim, so that might be the reason the women are dressed this way, and I feel out of place. Thank you for that note. And then she says, we did have an argument the night before, a small one. I am used to being alone and doing things my way. I was alone for a very long time before I met him, and so I'm used to taking charge of everything because I was a single mom. Thank you for the notes. They're always important. So straight away, it's a bright, sunny day. You're with your husband. We know it's about your relationship and healing for your relationship, because that's what the sun does in a dream, is healed. And you're walking outside, so that's good. Being outside almost in any dream is very positive. It's like we're going places in our relationship. But where you're going to this great event where people are all dressed up lovely and everything like that. And so again, positive. And you even say it's a big house with a circle driveway. So this is really good. Very good setup for the dream. Very promising for your relationship. You say it's a circle driveway, and in the middle is a grass area with a fountain. So everything in the dream is going to be a comment on your relationship, because that's the subject matter of the dream. So the circle driveway is about your circulatory system. But when there's no physical issue shown or physical problem in a dream, we know it's about your emotional side, your feelings. And the grassy area is green, so that's the color of the heart chakra as well, so that fits. So it's, and then the fountain. So why is it bringing in feminine side? Why is it bringing in the heart? Obviously, the heart is good to see in a relationship, but the fountain is like the cherry on the top, and it's saying that you get inspirational information from the spirit world. So your intuition just kicks in and tells you what you need to do in your relationship, or how to move forward in a very positive way. So you don't need to stick your head in a book. You don't need to go to other people for advice. Listen to your own inner guidance when it comes to your relationship, because you're doing it well. You're only going to do it wrong if you don't listen to your own inner advice. So that's the clue, but it's very good. Then what else do you say? People around dressed nicely. You describe them dressed in Muslim garb, but you describe it very positively, like beautiful headscarves and so on. So that's really good. It's about spiritual connection because of the ornate headscarves, let's say. The men are in suits, that's fine. Oh yeah, then the t-shirt and jeans. What about the t-shirt and jeans? Now you said a white t-shirt, and anybody who listens to the show would probably be going, oh yeah, that's about being critical and judgmental. But it's not, if it's not the only color there. And what we'll find in dreams is it nearly always is. But here she says it's white and blue because it's a white t-shirt with jeans. And so Maggie, is being told to have a lighter philosophy of life when it comes to her relationship. Because again, it's all a comment on the relationship. So don't be down, be positive, expect good things because that's what's in store for you. So I like that. What else about the t-shirt? It also tells us that there's nothing up her sleeves. Like you're not hiding anything. So it's saying, hey, look, have a positive philosophy of life. Use your own inner sense to tell you what to do in the relationship because you're not hiding anything. You're just being yourself. And that's often what t-shirts are about too, having nothing hidden, no hidden agenda in the relationship. So again, very positive. And then what else have we got? You and your husband go a different direction. So that's good. You're cutting your own path in your relationship. So you've got cultural influences. He's got cultural influences, but you're going to do your own thing. And then then we get to the part everybody's probably wondering about. What is this leg not working piece? And so the right leg is about feeling he is handicapping you. And the angels were very nuanced when I asked about this particular dream and this symbol. And it's always interesting to see how nuanced they can be in their responses. So they make it clear it is not about you handicapping yourself by marrying him, but it's about you feeling he is handicapping you. So this is where the growth is. So you're heading to this big house, but you're going your own direction. So it's like you're going to expand yourself. You're going to grow in this relationship. You're going to grow as a couple, but you're going to grow yourself. And we know it's going to help your heart, etc., because of all the symbols, the circle driveway and so on, that were also in the dream. So this area of getting the balance between I don't want to control him and I don't want him to control me, that's where your growth is. And the relationship is really going to help you in this regard.
Wow, Michael, that was fabulous. You want to give a little bit more detail about the big house? You kind of skipped over it a tad bit.
Well, anything that's, a bigger size in a dream is good. So if I'm moving from a small house to a bigger house, it's very good. If you've got problems with, say, a sluggish digestive system, nothing to do with this dream. If you see slow-moving animals and then your dreams are getting to where they're faster and faster, it shows positive progress. So this big house is about expanding your awareness and knowledge of yourself because of this relationship. So it's painting a super good picture about the relationship and about you in this relationship.
Okay, and why is it the right leg?
That's to do with the masculine side. So she also says he's on the right, she's on the left. Assuming it's not a cultural thing, masculine side is on the right, feminine side is on the left. So the way it is in the dream is like, this is the balance. This is what you're trying to find. We're always trying to find the balance between masculine and feminine, or even really balance the masculine, balance the feminine, because at some point then they integrate. When we get them both balanced, they start integrating. And then you have a very different animal of a dream. And it's really, really interesting. Very few people get to that point, but it's fantastic. And we see then how the masculine then helps the feminine in a way that it doesn't when there isn't that balance. So ultimately, that's where you're trying to go. And the dream shows it in beautiful harmony. So I really like it in this dream.
Wow, that's fabulous, Michael. Thank you. I love the fact that you didn't ruin that dream on me.
I do my best always.
All righty. Our next dream is from Kay, and it is titled Sneaky Scuba Divers. And I love the title because I love scuba diving. My sister and I were on a dock preparing to scuba dive in pitch black water. It was our mission to sneak across the border of some sort underwater without getting caught. We're preparing our scuba gear and realized the oxygen tanks were empty. Luckily, our dad found some old oxygen tanks that we could make work. I also knew I needed a headlamp so I could see where I was going underwater. But I was a little disappointed when all I could find was a small keychain flashlight. Still, I thought it would work just fine. We didn't have enough scuba gear for my dad to go with us, so he went back to his car to wait. We got in the water to look around, and the dream ended. Wow, I love that dream.
So, okay, my sister and I were on a dock. That's about birth. So this dream straight away brings you back to birth because ships birth at a dock. Different spelling, but it's a pun. And then you're preparing to scuba dive in pitch black water. So that's really good. That means that you're meant to be working in the spiritual field. So I'm sure there's no surprise to you that I'm saying that. You probably already are. but it's pitch black water. So there's an issue there with getting into it. And I channel a lot on this dream. We've been dragging this dream around for about 3 weeks on the show. And I keep skipping it because there's little nuances in it that I'm still not happy on. So, Kay, if you're listening to this, book me for the free session you get with me to talk about this dream after the show. Back to your dream. It's our mission to sneak across a border of some sort underwater. So this is about expanding your horizon, your spiritual understanding. One, by going into the water and going deep, because the scuba diving gear would let you go deep. But then going across a border is like going past your comfortable borders in that arena. But again, we don't like black. Black in a dream has nothing to do with what it means in waking life. You could love the color black in a dream. The meaning of colors, of all colors, comes from the meaning of in your aura. And black is about fear, negativity, hatred, resentment, guilt. So there's something that's causing you an issue in the spiritual field. And when I channeled on it, I got that it's to do with resentment. So there's a resentment involved that's causing you a difficulty. When we have our conversation, we can get to the bottom of that. So then you're crossing there. You had a problem with oxygen. So remember, this is the start of your life because that's what the doc is about. And there's a problem with oxygen. So I'd love to hear from you what went on there. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it's your sister, because you say your sister is with you at the start of the dream. And then we get to the key part. So how are you meant to expand yourself? Well, first of all, you're meant to use the light because you're looking for a headlamp. It's interesting how dreams do this. They always show the head and the heart. So a headlamp, lights are to do with the heart because it's all about intuition and a psychic connection, which works through feminine energy, which is through the heart. And then, but you say you're looking for a headlamp. So it's like, I want to use my head to make this connection. And even the dad wanting to be involved, or you want him to be involved, but he can't be. It's like, I got to let go of the masculine and I got to make this connection through the feminine. But I've only got this little small key light. But what I do like is it's a key. Keys are really good in dreams. So this is the key. Using your own inner intuition. That's how you're going to explore the spirit world. And it's not like, oh, am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? That's a very strong connection. You can channel for people through intuition. But what is great about it is it's very safe. There's no interference from other spirits when you're using your intuitive connection. But you can get the same information that somebody who can talk to spirits can get. When we were looking at this dream for the show, Sandy was like, there is no way you would scuba dive with just a key light.
No.
What's your issue there, Sandy?
It doesn't provide any light, and there are many things in the darkness that you want to be able to see. Plus, the whole reason for scuba diving at night is to be able to see the different animals that only come out in the nighttime.
All right. See, she's a scuba diver. What's good, though, is you still do it. Your dad's waiting in the car. So it's like, leave the masculine behind. Use the feminine. You gotta grow it because it's small, but that is the key. Even though right now at this moment in time you're feeling like, no, it's not enough. It is enough. That's what you've got to do. But that's the dream.
Wow, that's awesome. Too cool. Thank you, Michael. We're gonna move forward with the next dream from Fatima, and it's titled Scaffolding. But before I read the dream, she sent a little note with her email, and she said she's had a couple of dreams within weeks of each other that had both a church, a school, and Virgin Mary statues. So this seems to be a theme that's going on, so she's probably wondering. So here we go, Michael. Here's the dream. Driving to the edge of Las Vegas, where I live, because I heard there was a new church there, and I wanted to see it. The area I was in was unfamiliar and had new construction along the road, and I noticed that parts of the road I was driving on didn't have clear lane markings. I remember wondering, as I drove in the middle of the road, if this was a one- or two-way road that I was on, but there was oncoming car as the road curved, so I had to veer to the right to make room.
All right, so we're going to stop at the end of each paragraph. It's a little bit of a long dream, but very straightforward. So driving a car is really good. That's about moving forward in your life, pursuing your goals, etc. We use cars to get from where we are to where we need to go. And then here, though, she's complaining because she said there isn't clear marking. So in other words, as I strive to achieve my goals, it's not clearly marked for me what I need to do or where I need to go. That's her issue. And so we expect the dream to kind of give an answer to that. And it does, even in this first paragraph, she veers out of the way for somebody else. And we're going to see her doing this repeatedly in this dream. So it's like she puts herself in second place. If somebody else is coming along and says, oh, let me get off the road so you can use the road. But you got to look at a dream this way. Why does it stand out here? Because you would say, well, in reality, that's what you have to do. But this is her dream. So in her dream, she has picked a scenario where she has to get out of the way, even though she's created everything in the dream. That's why it's important in a dream. So what have we got next?
Well, hold on. I want to know about the new construction. What does that mean?
Very good. That's really positive. It's like the bigger house in the previous dream. So the new construction is I'm working on myself. So we know then that her striving is positive because she's working on herself, but she isn't quite clear about what it is that I need to work on and why.
All righty. And then the church?
We know it's spiritual because of the church. Doesn't matter if you're religious or not. So it's working on herself spiritually.
Okay, cool. I'm now ready to move on.
You're not letting me away with anything.
No. Eventually, the asphalt turns into a dirt road for a bit, but I hardly noticed except when I accidentally drove up a huge mound of dirt on my left. Because I was paying attention to the oncoming stop sign ahead where several cars were waiting their turn to make a left or right, I knew I had to make a left turn at the stop sign, but decided if the cross traffic was too busy, then I would turn right and make a U-turn somewhere. I didn't want to potentially hold up anyone behind me if I tried making a left. There you go, Michael.
See
wow.
She's at it again. She's like, oh, if somebody else needs this road, I'll go a mile out of my way just so that they can turn the way they want to turn or whatever it is. Craziness in a dream. Nothing to do with reality, but crazy in a dream. Then we see the dirt road and the mound of dirt and so on. So we know there's elimination system issues going on for this dreamer. So Fatima has issues there. And when we see dreams mix in the two, we know that working on one is going to help the other. So work on the issues that cause you to get out of the way for other people, to put yourself second, because you shouldn't be doing that. At least not always.
What about the stop sign?
Yeah, so people are at the stop sign, but they're not there by the time she gets there. So it's like she's got to change direction. So she knows that. I'm not just going to keep going on. She has to make a change in her life. And she knows that she needs to make a left turn. And left is turning into the heart, which is really good. But she's saying, if it's going to make people uncomfortable, I won't. I'll turn right, and then I'll do a U-turn later. And the right is about the masculine side. So it's like I'll stay in my head if working on feminine stuff affects other people. Nonsense. Don't do that.
Well, that's good. Cool. I'm ready to go on. That was good. When it was my turn at the stop sign, I was relieved to find that there was no traffic coming from either side and was able to make a left turn. As I drove, I noticed the road was getting pretty steep. It felt like I was driving almost straight up towards the sky. For a second, I wonder if my Google Maps was still working, since I hadn't heard it give directions/instructions. But when I looked down at my phone, the voice activated and said to continue to the end of the road.
This part's pretty straightforward. She's relieved that there's no traffic. Traffic is also to do with career. So whatever she's doing is going to impact her career. There's definitely a career change because she's got to make this turn. And this is one of the things we talk about in our summit, the difference between career and vocation. And if you're lucky, you can mix the two. You're meant to be working in the spiritual field, and you are working on yourself spiritually here because it's all about a church. And you are a spiritual leader. We'll see that later on. But we'll see also how you're impacted from previous events. I don't want to give it away till we get to the statue bit.
Well, Michael, what does the driving straight up towards the sky mean?
So she's trying to activate her spiritual side. So going straight up to the sky is actually fine in this dream. She doesn't talk about it being difficult, though the engine can't make it or anything like that. So that's quite positive. But it's going to be a little bit hard because of the way you describe this. And then you talk about the Google Maps. You thought they weren't working, but they are. So there's going to be a period where you're like, I'm listening to my own inner voice, my own inner direction. Is it giving me the right direction? And I'm questioning it, but it'll turn out it is. So stick with that inner voice.
Cool. All righty. As I continued to drive up, I noticed a person on a motorcycle narrowly misses the open door of a car parked on the side of the road. I had to swerve to the left a bit to avoid it myself. When I got close to the top, I noticed so many people walking and wondered if they all decided to leave their cars at the bottom of the hill/mountain and walked all the way up. I think I wondered if I should have done that myself. There you go, Michael.
So she's still at it. She's swerving to avoid other people. And again, it's like, as I pursue my goals, I get out of the way of other people, or other people impact me on my journey. And I shouldn't let them. That's really what it's about. Then she's also like, should I do it the way everybody else is doing it? Like I drove up. It's like, no, absolutely drive. Take the easy way. It means then probably that you had a past life where it's like doing the slow, hard thing is the thing to do. And part of me says, it should be a pilgrimage. It should be a bit of a crusade. There should be pain involved. No, there shouldn't be. Not in this era.
I then saw scaffolding all around what I assumed was the church and wondered why the church looked unfinished. I then came to an area where several Virgin Mary statues were laid out in a long row on the dirt. I wondered if my sister-in-law, Lynn, had been there yet. Maybe, because in reality, she does go on pilgrimages.
So here we have it. And we're going to part of what the issue is. So the scaffolding says that you were persecuted in a former life. That's what scaffolding is about. Hanging. You were hanged in a former life is the way to put it. For being the spiritual leader that you were in that lifetime. And so you're meant to be a spiritual leader in this lifetime. That's what the Virgin Mary is about. It works through feminine energy. So it's better to have her show up, symbolizing it in your dreams. But you were hanged for it in a former life. And that causes you the issues in this one. And we're going to see that something a little bit more clearly later on. So what else have we got? Yeah, they're all lined up, laid out in a long row of dirt. So this is difficulty letting go of that. This is why we have problems with the elimination system, problems with letting go of stuff. And our body just mirrors what is a psychological issue for us. So work on letting go of things. That works through feminine energy. So the more you get into this, the easier it's going to be. We see your sister-in-law, she goes on pilgrimages, but it's not meant to be the hard route this time. Why not? Because you've done that. You've done the hard work in other lifetimes. So this lifetime, you're able to just stand up there and say, hey, I've got the skills. I can help you.
And why is the church unfinished?
Because she's working on herself. She hasn't got to the point of it's all done now. It's like, I'm still on my journey. I'm still discovering who I am. And when she gets to that point, then the church will be finished in her dreams. And it'll probably even be bigger. It won't be this little church. It'll probably be a cathedral or something monumental. But that's typically the direction dreams go.
Wow, that's cool. Then I saw another gated area to my left. A woman was just about to close the gate. But before she did, I could see there were several more statues in there. I walked over to where people were watching groups of school-age kids behind a gated area. There were maybe 3 groups of kids all forming a circle, and they were murmuring chants while they walked slowly. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but assumed they were praying.
This is a former life influence in the dream. You were a missionary. You went to places, set up schools, taught people basically your religion and your way of connecting with God. And it didn't end well for you. We know that because of the scaffolding. And you didn't get to finish, at least in your sense, you felt, I didn't get to finish what I came here for. But you're going to finish that in this lifetime. But the beauty of this lifetime is you don't have the same dangers, but that feeling of danger is going to be there. And so while that's the end of that dream, unless Sandy has a question about something, I wanted to cover just a little piece of another dream that you sent in, because it shows it again. It backs up what we're saying about this particular dream.
All right, I'll move forward. I had questions, but I'll let you off the hook today. All righty, the second one is titled Dream 2. As we walked out to leave, we walked through a school playground past some swings where there were some kids standing around. I remember making eye contact with a young girl with blonde hair as we walked past each other. I wondered if they were wondering who we were. I also noticed a puddle of water and saw a statue of the Virgin Mary lying in it and realized it must be a memorial for someone who died there. I wondered why there were not also flowers there if it was a memorial. Wow, that's sad, Michael.
Yep. And this piece is just to back up what we're saying about the first one. So the scaffolding might seem like, how can you make that leap? But I can do it because I've seen it in so many dreams. But here we see somebody who was a spiritual leader died, and there's a memorial for them. But she's upset that, well, I did this, I lost my life, and where's the love? That's what the flowers represent. Where's the love? And that is part of the issue that you got to overcome, letting go of that, healing the past. Heal your past life by becoming excellent at doing this in this lifetime. So very clear. You're on the right path, clearly. You just feel like it's not marked well. That's what we have at the start. And you're accommodating other people too much in the pursuit of your own goals.
Wow, I love it, Michael. That was great. Well, I am so excited, Michael. We have our big event coming up of the year. It is our Dream Interpretation Summit. Oh, and then we've also got our healing course called the Dream Tracker's Guide, which I love that course. And that started on September 2nd. But if you want to talk to Michael, there's a possibility you could get in because this course is so huge. It completely changes your life. Michael, you want to say more?
Yes, it did start on Saturday, but it is one of those courses that it goes on for as long as it needs to go on. So we have people join that one late all the time. It's always interesting to see other people's dreams and what they mean and how it relates to their life. And that's very much what this course is about. Lots and lots of live dream analysis. Like if you're in the course, you probably get about 70 dreams done. Over the duration, we take whatever the biggest issue you have in your life that your dreams are pointing out and help you solve that problem, heal that trauma. And it changes you. When you heal a trauma, it changes you. A lot of the traits that you have in your life are going to be a defensive mechanism as a result of a trauma. So you don't want it to ever happen again, even if it's something you've forgotten. And you have these traits that are your protective mechanism that you adopted as a child, and they worked as a child, but we keep them up as an adult. And that's really the problem, that we keep them up as an adult. So heal the trauma, and then all those defensive traits drop. It's amazing to see. And we call the top level the transformation level because of those changes.
I think that's it. I don't think we have any more time.
No, we're out of time. So thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And we will see you next week. Take
Bye.
care.